how did I do on Fox 4? Well, we'll start with Matt Hughes Forum, where I didn't quite win, although I came very close. I got 5 on there, which was above the average of 4, but the winner, Irish Pride, managed to get 6. So, very close, but no banana there. A Fight Lockdown, it was not really applicable because they've just started a new season on there, and they're doing a sort of Grand Prix type thing this time or something. Anyway, they were still getting sign-ups for that, so we didn't manage to... it wasn't... nobody... I didn't submit any picks, nobody did, so there we are. 58th on the Finishels thing, which is not particularly brilliant. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but hey, there we are. This is precisely why I don't use paid sites, because generally speaking, I'm just not quite as good. Although I have to say that don't forget that system isn't just picking losers and winners, it's also picking what round it finishes and what method, and all of those go into the calculations as well. So even if I get a high score in terms of picking winners and losers, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do very well. If I've picked all the winners, but I've got all the rounds wrong and all the methods of losing or winning wrong, then, you know, so I don't know which is accurate, but there we are. So Josh Grisby and Rani Yaha went round and round the mulberry bush, quite literally. I had said that I thought that this could be quite a hard fight to call, and that it could be very, very interesting. I did err towards Josh Grisby, but I have to say I wasn't sure on that. Rani Yaha showed in this match why I had a habit of choosing him to win during WEC. And that's that he's very, very good on the ground, and it was quite funny to watch him sort of trying to get the choke bite, and they were sort of spinning round slowly on the ground. It was very, very good to watch, and you know, okay, I didn't pick him, but that shows you why I hold him as quite a high calibre. Now I've often questioned why Nam Pham is still in the UFC, and I went for Cole Miller winning this fight, and it was a split decision for Nam in the end. Now I have to say, having watched it, I don't think it was as close as a split decision, and I would have to say, you know, objectively, that I think Nam Pham won that one, because I think only in the 3rd round did Cole Miller really do anything, you know, particularly exciting at all, and that only happened because he got a bit dazed and confused right at the start of the 3rd, and I'm quite surprised then that Nam Pham wasn't able to capitalise and finish, but there we are. Certainly during the 1st round Cole Miller just never took the centre at all. And during the 2nd round, you know, there were times when he took the centre, but really he was sort of dancing around the outside, and you know, he did have a reach advantage, but his kicks didn't seem to have much power, and he wasn't using them as often as perhaps he should have done. He was also, I think, a little bit timid in engaging, which allowed sort of Nam Pham to sort of sneak underneath and just zap him every few minutes. He was often on the back foot, often backing away, and that went all the way through the 1st and the 2nd round. Only the 3rd round, I think, could you claim he equalled, if not bettered. So that's my view on that fight. A bit surprised, and I actually did enjoy it. But I kept thinking, you know, because obviously I had hoped that Cole Miller would win, I kept wondering why he wasn't engaging more, particularly why he wasn't using his kicks more, and how come the ones that he didn't seem to have the sort of power. But there you are, you can't predict them all correctly. Didn't really enjoy the Ollie Thompson bout. That's not just because he lost, it's because he looked a little bit like a damp squib before he lost. And I was thinking all the way through the first, even when it was mainly just sort of clinch work going on. And credit too for the referee who, yes, split them up, but also gave them chance to see if the power struggle would, you know, actually involve a takedown eventually. Disappointing also with the boos that came again and again and again. In fact, there were obviously a few booers in the crowd who just wanted to boo all the time, because in the second, when it did go to the ground, you know, De Vries took a long time in getting the RNC, and the boos were beginning again. There we are. I wouldn't particularly say that it was a hugely impressive fight for either, but it got the job done for De Vries, and really, yes, Ollie Thompson, it was not his best showing, I don't think. Wagner Prado didn't seem very happy about the stoppage in his fight. The nice part of me wants to think, well, you know, that's part of the fighting spirit. He thought he could fight on, etc. The cynic in me thinks perhaps it's because he thought that because of the calling there, they were going to rule it as a victory to his opponent. I don't know which reason elicited the response, to be totally honest, because it was quite an emotional and quite a sort of angry response, which just made me think, oh, I wonder if he thinks the other guy's won now or not. Yes, disappointing from Phil Davis, has to be said, but there are fighters that run around with their fingers stuck out when they're punching, which they shouldn't do. As far as I'm concerned, they just shouldn't do. It obviously wasn't deliberate, but you know, if you can't keep your hands together, there you are, and ruled a no contest, so there we are. It was nice to see Mike Swick back again, wasn't it? And it was also nice to see that he won, and that he finished. Because one of my things that I pointed out before was, you know, he's been out for quite a long time, and, you know, ring rust after, I don't know, 2.5 years, something like that. You can't expect him, apart from fluke perhaps, to come back and be, you know, as good, possibly, as he was. And I think during the first round you saw that. You know, he did get taken down, and there was a certain amount of, not so brilliant. But in the second round, he did very, 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 very well indeed, and got the knockout, so well done to him. You know, Lyoto seemed to be taking a step backwards in this fight. I remember when people used to criticise him for being deathly boring. He used to dance around for 3 rounds, pull a punch at the end and get a knockout. People didn't like that very much, and he worked very hard to put on more exciting fights. Come this sort of qualifier basically for contendership, there seemed to be 2 former champions, both looking to become the next to contend. Both on this card. Rua was one and Lyoto was the other. And it does seem that it's the gold that matters, because he played a very counter-striking game once again. I have to say that Ryan Bader didn't know where he was or what he was doing, and anybody putting him in the same fight with Lyoto should have known that it wasn't going to go well, even if Lyoto had been a little bit more engaging and a little bit more exciting. He didn't. And of course the inevitable happened eventually after, you know, I don't know how long dancing around. Finally there was some sort of punch, and that was it. Do I think that he deserves to be the contender versus Rua, whose fight, went on much longer and was far more engaging. Part of me thinks that, neither of them truly outshone each other if you're going to base their right to contend on that particular card. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, who cares? I would say let Rua go first, because he's already been hard done by, hasn't he, at title level, with Lyota's fake win and their rematch, and I would say that had been unfair to Rua, so perhaps now it was time to be slightly, arguably unfair to Lyota and make him wait. I suspect that the UFC want Lyota to challenge first because he's probably more likely to claim the title. If he claims the title, they can then set up the big third, can't they? The third in the trilogy, where once again Lyota is the title holder and Rua is the challenger, and what is going to happen? That, I suspect, would be Dana White's motive, regardless of what he says, in letting Lyota contend first. My Fighter of the Card award has to go to Joe Lauzon. I did say that I thought that this could possibly be Fight of the Night, and I did also tell you all about Jamie Varner's history in WEC with the title. It has to be said that you can see in that fight exactly the sort of fighter that is required to be, or was required to be, a WEC champion. And do bear in mind, please, that he took the fight on short notice. I don't know if I knew that or if I'd heard that before, because I do remember saying in my prediction video that I was going to go for Joe, but I didn't really know why, and I wonder if I'd heard about that before or not. I can't quite remember, but that might have had something to do with it. What I didn't see was Joe actually finishing, so it's as much for the finish as anything else that he is my Fighter of the Card for this event.